Sessions at sunrise, a way to begin every morning. Most mornings, I'm up to see the sun. I'm used to thinking and feeling in words. Living in words, my world is living and the world is living me. I wonder what will animate me today or what will go away. I find myself in the realm of a hope dealer. I have no suit to put on, just learning to be me, not fancy, just a lot clearer. Am I doing all I can to preserve great leaders? Am I doing all I can to bring great parents to children and great leaders to organizations? I ask the emerging sunrise to release me from shunning the mystery. The world does not have to be beautiful to work, but it is. So let's meet it where it is, pay close attention to things, and see possibility. Welcome to Sessions at Sunrise. Welcome to Sessions at Sunrise, and I appreciate this opportunity to share this time with you. You know, one of the aspects that I encounter in my moment-to-moment life, business, universal, personal, is the continuity of things. And let me explain the continuity of things is that there is a certain rhythm of life, a dynamic in the nature of our experience where we conserve something moving into the next moment. Something is conserved. And I think this conservation, something that we conserve, is different than what we know. Right? So it's not like, well, I thought that the world was this way, or I categorized this type of role to be this way. This is what a man should be. This is what a wife should do. This is what a husband does. It's not about our knowledge or our database. There's something different, something deeper that is awake, that's conscious in how we listen, how we pay attention, how we notice certain information. We notice certain aspects of our experiences. Now, I'm not talking about attaining something. I'm talking about the quality of attention, a fierce attention, that we notice something when we are alive, present. And so here we go. We enter from this place. What is conserved? So might I conserve, let's say, the process of human development? Let's say part of my evolving myself, connecting with my future, is part of self-knowledge. Maybe I'm conserving, say, access to my own wisdom. Maybe I'm conserving the quality of social connection that I have between me and other. It's an interesting question of what's being conserved. And I'm asking you to consider it. I'm asking you to consider, what are you conserving as you're coming into the next moment? You're conserving the process of being a human being. So what does conserving the process of being a human being entail? Well, you have incompletions, flaws, imperfections. So consciously knowing what's being conserved tilts you to pay attention to events and make sense of things in a certain way. If I'm conserving the learning process, the process of seeing new things, learning something new, then I'm going to relate with the current moment as an ally. I think one of the most intriguing things that I find leaders conserve is the quality of being a soulful person. You know, we get run over by so many alternatives. Our mind puts us into thoughts and theories and trying to sort of make sense of things based on what we know. But it's oftentimes in the quiet moments, the silence when things speak to us, the sessions at sunrise, when we find ourselves meeting a quality of what we're conserving. And a moment for me that came suddenly was I was looking for a paint color to paint something around my house. And I was looking for an orange color. So I went to the paint store. I got the little paint booklet. And I'm rolling through the booklet, and there was a name on one of the colors that struck me, and it said Chabacano, Chabacano, which is a Spanish term for apricot or peach, the Chabacano. And as I heard it, I started to sort of bring my imagination to it. It sort of evoked an image. I had the image of the apricot, and as I listened, kind of held the space for it, it started to inform something really cool, something meaningful. And it brought me to say a very powerful little poem that came up I call Chabacano. You must do your own thing, for it is not an option to do anything else. The sweetest peach houses the touchstone. Lay your loving hands on the surface. Engagement by consent offers itself. Answer when the world calls your name. Even suffering knows this. Everything speaks in soul code. Decay cannot reduce nothingness. Then fuzzy soft surroundings polish the mirror. The light bulb moon sings front stage among a pink backdrop. Feather-friendly clouds hush. And the seed is perfect on its own terms. The gateway to whole fruit cannot be two. Inner power meets outer purpose, soft and hard, hold the ring of fire. The contradiction animates effortlessly, and rewards are for everyone. The pearl of wisdom is polished. Just name it into the world as it desires. Chabacano. Picture the fuzzy outside. Picture the hard pit on the inside. What is conserved? The pit. What remains? The soul. But throughout our lives, we go through different roles. The soul is not the role. The role isn't conserved unless we're fixed on it. But we learn these roles, we occupy these roles. But what we must not forget is our quality of being in the role. Being. We're not talking about pretending, conforming, social acceptance. We're talking about Chabacano, the soulful person that's having an experience as a soulful person conserved, and that soulful person is likely to meet meaning, interpret events in terms of care, concern, service, compassion, kindness, love. These are qualities of expression in our being that are the highest we can occupy at every moment. And I truly believe that's what the essence of leadership is the access that we give ourselves to the highest quality of expression that we can occupy at every moment. And it's as if we can meet the world as this soulful person without needing to change it. See, we get anger because we want passionately things to be different. I'm not talking about chronic anger. I'm talking about we have angry reactions to the way things emerge when we forget to soften our edges into it. I think of Chabacano as a hard back of one's poise in their own truth, and the soft front of legitimizing and accepting the life that's here. It's a very radical stance. It's a radical acceptance. But I think there's a certain comprehension by conserving this base, this source out of which we attend and act and listen from a finer quality of expression inside of ourselves. We learn to receive. So what is it that we have to then discontinue? If this is the pit remains, what's the part that has to be pruned? What are the pruning elements that need to die in us to give rise to what's ready to be born? There's a quality of letting go. And I think we start to see things as if we saw them for the first time. I think there's a first time that's on a repetitiveness. There's a repetitiousness of coming into wonder, of astonishment, of suddenly you see things, despite your experience and your history, you see something differently, as if it were the first time. You've probably had this, that you've seen something miraculous in the ordinary because of the interior condition of the seer. And that shift of mind from seeing from a different place in you changed the way whatever you see appears. Because what you see is what you get. See, the way that you treat others is the way that you think of them, and the way that you treat them is who they become. Just take that in. Sometimes the hardest thing to see is what's right in front of us. So coming to see with fresh eyes, to see for the first time, is commensurate with a quality of awareness, of our capacity to cultivate our own innocence, to see with virgin eyes, to maintain our own experience. There's a discipline to this. We have to catch ourselves. And I think there's all sort of first times that are revealing themselves throughout our life story. If you look back in your past, you'll see as if the first time you ever heard someone compliment you, the first time that you saw your child in a loving relationship and then in a dress walking around the corner and being married and walking her down the aisle, and the first time that you fell in love and the first kiss. But the first time doesn't stop. We never weather away the first time, but we have to let go of our method and experiences and all the accumulation to be fence-free. The first time is always the one. To he who caught my first pitch, standing there I was seen to be great at something. What was given is to be given. To cancel this from the list would be cutting off a limb. It is to be seen for the first time that makes us whole. Initiation is not the Father's way. A man becomes a man when rewarded by other men for being himself. And perhaps I am fathered by lifetime supporters and suppliers. I came to know new versions of me beyond my role as a son. And to those who came into my life story, even the insulting ones, are teachers. The future needed them to come, as if the souls served other souls in my future encounters. Supply lines keep our best in conservation, and many, many voices come through mine. I am a multiverse living among a network of conversations to and from. Noise and shock, suddenness of loss, de-geniuses the wise one. To return, I must remember the souls that saw me true. Dependence is my way back home. Little by little, I let the world have what belongs in it, because whatever was put in me is to give it. The purpose of life is to open the stream. It is to live life. And the notion of power is absolved into atmospheric order. I am never defined by what I know. All doing is knowing anyway, and all knowing is doing. To reduce the next moment is to overthink it. And follow what the future wants to see. This moment I shall bring the first time into what's next. Life knows wherever I am.